Trước khi bắt đầu, nếu bạn đang tìm kiếm sách để học IELTS hiệu quả, thì đây là những cuốn sách chúng mình khuyên dùng. Nó có thể giúp bạn đạt điểm IELTS từ 7.0 tới 8.0. Bạn hãy xem ở phần giỏ hàng trong kênh nhé.
Part 1. You will hear a conversation between a customer and a receptionist at a 3D printing service about placing an order for several items.
Good morning, Rapid 3D Printing Services. How can I help you today?
Hi, I'd like to place an order for several small printed items, please.
Certainly. Can I take your name first?
Yes, it's Daniel Harper.
Thank you, Mr. Harper. I can see here you previously ordered a phone stand from us last month. Is this a new request?
Yes, that's right. This one is for a university project.
Great. Let's go through the items one by one. The first item listed here is a model car printed in resin, about 12 centimeters long. Could you tell me what it's for?
It's for a design exhibition at the end of term.
Sorry, did you say competition?
No, exhibition. EXHIBITION.
Thank you. I'll make a note of that. Now, the second item is a gear wheel made of nylon, 8 centimeters wide. Are there any special requirements for that?
Yes, it needs to be very strong because it'll be tested in a mechanical system.
Strong, understood. And the third item is a small drone part made from ABS plastic, measuring 6 centimeters. When do you need that by?
Ideally by Thursday.
Thursday?
Sorry, I mean Friday.
Friday. This Friday?
Yes, that's correct. We're assembling the prototype over the weekend.
I'll mark that as urgent. Finally, there's a key holder made from wood fill material, 10 centimeters long. What shape would you like for that?
A star shape, please.
A star. Lovely choice. Now, regarding collection, the whole order should be ready in 3 working days.
3 working days, not calendar days.
Yes, working days only. We'll send you a text message as soon as everything is finished.
Perfect.
You'll be able to collect the items from the front desk during normal business hours.
That's fine.
We require a deposit of 30% before production begins. We used to require 20%, but now it's 30%.
No problem.
The remaining balance can be paid by card when you collect the items. We'll also send the receipt to your email address.
Great. Thanks very much for your help.
You're welcome.
Part 2. You will hear a guide giving visitors an introduction to the layout and facilities of Greenbridge Park.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I am delighted to introduce our speaker tonight, Dr. Helen Murray, who will be talking about the development and current layout of Greenbridge Park. Helen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Greenbridge Park is now one of the most popular public spaces in the area, but its origins are rather unusual. In the early 1900s, this part of town was mainly industrial land, with warehouses and storage yards near the river. When several of those businesses closed, the land stood empty for a number of years. The local authority eventually purchased the site, not to improve transport links, as some people have suggested, but specifically to create a shared outdoor space for residents. At the time, there were very few facilities for exercise or leisure activities in this district. At first, some councillors thought improving transport links would be more beneficial. However, after reviewing local surveys, the council decided that creating recreational facilities should be the main priority. Improved access between different neighbourhoods happened later, but that was never the main reason for establishing the park. At the heart of the park, you will see the large fountain. Some people assumed it was purely decorative, and a few even believed it replaced an older structure. In reality, it was intended as a meeting point. Encircling the park is a designated cycle path. While it is occasionally used by people commuting to work, it was designed mainly with recreational users in mind. The council wanted families and casual cyclists to have a safe route away from traffic. The outdoor gym equipment that you may have noticed near the southern pathway was not part of the original plan. It was introduced relatively recently following a public consultation process. Several residents had requested more fitness facilities, and the installation formed part of a wider upgrade program. Now, let me take you through the layout carefully. If you enter from the west gate, the bike rental station is immediately inside the entrance and slightly south of the main path. Walking north from there towards the river, you will reach the viewing platform positioned along the northern edge beside the water. If you then follow the riverside path eastwards, the children's playground is located in the northeast corner, close to the east gate. Now return towards the center of the park and you will see the large fountain where the main paths cross. Just above the fountain and to the left, in the upper left section inside the circular path, is the picnic area. It lies in the northwest part of the central layout and is separated from the river by the outer walkway. Moving across to the opposite side of the fountain, but remaining in the upper half of the park, you will find the information center. It is on the eastern side, slightly above the horizontal path that runs through the middle. If you continue further down on the eastern side, below that central path and closer to the southeast section, you will reach the first aid point. In the lower right part of the park, near the curved outer path, is the outdoor gym. Finally, the drinking water station is in the southwest section of the park. To find it, walk directly south from the fountain towards the south gate. It is in the lower left part of the park, below the picnic area, and separated from it by the central path.
Part 3. You will hear two students discussing a history exhibition for Open Week.
The deadline for the Open Week History exhibition is approaching fast.
Yes, we need to finalize the details. Let's start with the audience. Who is this exhibition actually for?
I assumed it was aimed at history undergraduates like us.
I thought so too, but Professor Grant wants to reach beyond our department.
Because of Open Week?
Exactly. A significant portion will be high school leavers, actively considering submitting an application to study here next year.
We definitely need to impress those potential future applicants. What about university staff?
They might drop by occasionally, but aren't the primary focus.
And school groups?
It's not tailored for structured field trips. The content is too dense for children.
So we're primarily aiming at those thinking of enrolling alongside regular people from the local community who just want to see what we do.
Yes, those are the two primary demographic groups.
About the historical period, we've narrowed it down to the Industrial Revolution.
There is a mountain of primary source material in the university archives.
True, but archival convenience isn't why I chose it.
What was the deciding factor?
What fascinates me is how that era fundamentally dictated the way we all earn a living today. The factory system and fixed shifts started there, shaping contemporary employment practices.
That makes sense. It's a very relatable topic.
Additionally, our city underwent a dramatic physical transformation then.
Right, the population here almost doubled in 50 years.
Exactly. There's a strong geographic and historical tie to this specific surrounding region. That local connection makes the exhibition more engaging.
Let's decide on the themes for each section.
Starting with early factories, we could focus on technological developments like steam engines.
I believe we should focus entirely on the daily reality for the employees on the shop floor, the incredibly dangerous machinery they operated, and the shockingly low wages they took home.
I agree. The human cost is compelling. It draws people in more than machines. For railways, I suppose that will clearly be about how people and freight were moved across the country.
Definitely, we can showcase how networks revolutionized the physical movement of raw materials and passengers from one region to another.
Right. What about public health? It might seem disconnected from factories.
Well, it links to major breakthroughs in treating diseases. We can demonstrate how doctors discovered new ways to prevent outbreaks, improving healthcare significantly.
I agree. Next is city expansion. Should we focus on town hall architecture or how they constructed housing for the workers?
No, rather than looking at the buildings themselves or the new housing projects, the core issue is the demographic explosion. It obviously relates directly to the massive shift of populations into metropolitan centers. So let's highlight.
Part 4. You will hear a lecture about plankton blooms and the environmental factors that trigger them.
Today, I am going to talk about plankton blooms and the environmental conditions that trigger them. Although plankton are microscopic organisms that drift in oceans and seas, they play a crucial role in sustaining marine ecosystems. Phytoplankton, which are capable of photosynthesis, form the base of most oceanic web foods. They also produce a substantial proportion of the oxygen found in the Earth's atmosphere. For this reason, fluctuations in plankton populations can have consequences that extend well beyond marine environments. Large plankton blooms commonly occur near coastal regions, particularly in areas where rivers discharge fresh water into the sea. These coastal zones often receive additional nutrients from agricultural runoff, wastewater, and natural sediment transported downstream. Nutrients, such as nitrogen and phosphorus, function as fertilizers in marine ecosystems. When they accumulate in surface waters, they create ideal conditions for rapid biological growth. However, nutrients alone are not sufficient. Sunlight is equally essential because phytoplankton rely on light energy to perform photosynthesis. As a result, blooms are more likely to develop during seasons with longer daylight hours and relatively stable weather conditions. Another key factor influencing bloom formation is water temperature. Warmer surface temperatures can accelerate metabolic processes within plankton cells, allowing populations to expand more quickly. In contrast, colder temperatures may slow growth rates. Nevertheless, temperature effects are closely linked to water movement and mixing patterns, which determine how nutrients are distributed throughout the water column. Although temperature plays a role, nutrient availability is usually the more decisive factor. One of the most significant physical processes associated with plankton blooms is upwelling. Upwelling occurs when strong seasonal winds push warm surface water away from a coastline. As this surface water moves offshore, colder, nutrient-rich water rises from deeper layers to replace it. This deeper water contains nutrients that have accumulated from decomposed organic matter. When these nutrients reach the sunlit upper ocean, phytoplankton can reproduce rapidly. In certain regions of the world, predictable upwelling events support highly productive fisheries by sustaining regular seasonal blooms. The rate of reproduction during a bloom can be extremely rapid. Under optimal environmental conditions, some phytoplankton species may double their population within a single day. In some regions, this can happen in as little as 24 hours. This rapid growth can alter the color of the water, producing green, brown, or occasionally reddish discoloration. While these visible events are sometimes referred to as red tides, not all blooms are harmful. Many are natural and provide essential energy for higher trophic levels, including fish, seabirds, and marine mammals. Despite their ecological importance, dense blooms can also generate negative consequences. When phytoplankton accumulate near the surface, they reduce the amount of light penetrating into deeper waters. This limitation can restrict the growth of submerged aquatic plants and disrupt habitats relied upon by other marine organisms. Furthermore, blooms are temporary phenomena. Eventually, nutrient supplies become depleted or environmental conditions change, leading to a decline in plankton populations. When a bloom collapses, large quantities of dead organic matter sink toward the seabed. Bacteria then decompose this material through biological processes that consume dissolved oxygen from the surrounding water. If decomposition occurs on a large scale, oxygen concentrations can drop dramatically. In extreme cases, the water becomes hypoxic, meaning it contains insufficient oxygen to support most marine life. Areas affected in this way are commonly known as dead zones. Fish may migrate to more oxygen-rich waters, while less mobile species, such as shellfish, may experience severe population declines. Human activities have increased the frequency and intensity of certain plankton blooms. Agricultural fertilizers, urban runoff, and industrial discharge introduce excessive nutrients into rivers and coastal waters. This process, known as eutrophication, enhances the likelihood of unusually large blooms. Climate change may also influence bloom dynamics by altering sea surface temperatures, wind patterns, and rainfall distribution. Such changes can modify nutrient availability and the timing of seasonal growth cycles. Researchers continue to monitor plankton blooms using satellite imagery, water sampling, and advanced computer models. By understanding how physical, chemical, and biological factors interact, scientists aim to improve predictions of bloom events. Accurate forecasting can assist fisheries managers, environmental agencies, and coastal communities in mitigating potential impacts. Although plankton blooms are natural components of marine ecosystems, their scale and effects are increasingly shaped by human influence. Careful management of nutrient inputs, combined with continued climate research, will therefore be essential for maintaining resilient and balanced ocean systems in the future.
Bạn đang nghe podcast miễn phí tại IELTS. Nếu bạn yêu quý kênh, hãy ủng hộ chúng mình ở phần mô tả nha.